So, yeah, I've got the storm now.
I mean, the GFS ensemble actually shifted more west again.
Because, like,
there's actually an ensemble that has it over PR.
it's not good. It actually looks really organized.
You think so?
It's not looking too bad. I mean, if you look at the last two frames, I mean, you see convection starting to, you can see you see more cloud cover wrapping around the center of circulation. It's starting to create outflow and more bands.
Oh yeah. Looks like it's trying to blow up as we speak. Those little blobs. Those are trying to really get it like together. And probably like one of those two blobs is the center. I think it will be at least by tonight. People are actually talking about the Pacific now in the chat. I mean, I care about the Pacific, but only like if it's affecting land. Yeah, that's where we live, bro. It is. I mean, they don't even happen there, so I mean, it's understandable. You know, there's actually a model that actually thinks that this is going to do a loop, like Jose. And there are two models that have it actually becoming a hurricane.
This is your live tropical update.
Turn this up. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The Hurricane Watch Team is here with your latest update on Tropical Depression 11 as it is heading closer to the Lesser Antilles, and it has a chance of affecting the Bahamas and the United States later into next week. I do have a guest with me today. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Well, Weather Hub TV, you guys. We're just tracking the system that could potentially affect the Lesser Antilles later this week. You know, maybe some potential impacts of where Irma may landfall. So you guys need to watch for that.
Yeah, the storm is, getting closer to the Lesser Antilles, and it does seem like it, similar to an Irma track, but, so far. But obviously not the intensity, but something I do want to point out is the convection in the last few frames that we're seeing near the center of circulation. We got some here. Got some here. I think the center of circulation is right here. It looks to be moving in this direction. And if that continues, we may even see a small landfall to the north of the islands, which it is possible, if that were to happen. So we're really gonna have to watch the storm and what it does. I honestly thought it'd be a tropical storm already. It really seems like these storms take forever to become a tropical storm. That's how it's been feeling like.
It's 2020.
It's like everything seems to take forever. Nothing seems to be going the way we want it to be. And it's just not going well at all. Oh, Lord. Okay, let's take a look at the models, because we need to know what they're showing for the storm. What did you say about the GFS?
There are some ensembles that shifted west. Not the actual GFS, but like the ensembles have shifted more west compared to usual.
The GEFS?
Yeah. The 12Z. There's like more of them that have it just going north, west northwest, or like northwest really. They don't really have it going out to sea anymore. There are some ensembles that have it actually getting to the United States or trying to do a track to the United States now.
They don't show this storm strong at all. They show this basically not getting any stronger.
With these ensembles, there are some of them that like the average is like I say like 45 to 50 knots, which is like about a 50 to 60 mile per hour system. That's like the average. And that's like what the NEC predicts will be. But there are a couple ensembles that get to at least 70 miles per hour, like 3 or 4 of them, that have it at least becoming a very strong tropical storm. And 2 of them have it becoming a hurricane.
Wow. I wouldn't be surprised, because given 2000, I think this could, I think this is going to definitely get stronger in the coming days,
Yeah.
I do think, definitely 40 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour, 60 miles an hour, maybe even peaking at around 70 miles an hour. And it may, go through more strengthening as it gets closer to the United States, near Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina. This is the region that it goes. But if it goes over Florida, it may landfall in, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, or the Panhandle of Florida. That's also possible.
If it struggles like more than expected, which it's kind of struggle right now, that is a possibility. And with the European actually shifting a little bit more to the south now,
yeah,
they're actually showing it closer to the Lesser Antilles now in the new European model.
Huh. Here, let me take a look at the European model and see what they're showing.
But if it's weaker, there's more of a chance it goes more west. If you think about it, if it's weaker,
yeah,
it's gonna.
It doesn't create its own. When storms are weaker, it doesn't create its own favorable environment, and so it is able to get more pushed around by this high pressure. Yeah, closer to the islands. It seems like that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna take a look and see what the models are showing. Go to trackthetropics.com.
But if this is stronger, it's more likely going to be a fish storm. If it's weaker, it's going to be steered more west, and that could be more of a problem because it may not be so favorable near the Lesser Antilles, but after it passes that area, near the Bahamas area, that could be a problem. If it could make it that far west, that could make it a problem.
See, the problem is going to be even if, it goes towards the Bahamas, and then once it goes through rapid intensification, hurricane warnings for Florida, and then it makes that quick turn to the north. We saw that with Dorian. We saw that with Isaias. We might even see that with potentially Tropical Storm Josephine. Where are the models for this storm? Maybe they're up here. I mean, here, okay, if we go here, this is what, okay, here are the models. I mean, again, some of them show it being much stronger and kind of going out to sea. Others show it being much weaker and getting really close to the U.S. Virgin Islands and British Virgin Islands. U.S. Virgin Islands and British Virgin Islands, which could be a problem. I mean, even if it doesn't make landfall, it is still going to bring swells to Puerto Rico and then the islands and maybe even parts of the Dominican Republic, depending on how, close it is to that country.
But the European coming out, it actually has it south of what the National Hurricane Center has the cone with. It's a little bit more to the south. So maybe the National Hurricane Center shift the cone a little bit more south, possibly, with the next forecast.
Once again, there are no watches or warnings for the Lesser Antilles at the moment, but that is subject to change in the future. I think it will.
Yeah, we're at least going to get tropical. Yeah, at least tropical storm watches are going to happen, most likely.
Bro, they literally still have Gonzalo on Track the Tropics. Why?
You're Gonzalo?
I'm not even joking. I'm not even joking. I'll have to show you. Hold up. Share screen. Hold up, gotta find it. Look at that.
Bruh.
I don't...
Literally.
That is just comical right there. That is pure comedy gold right there. Yeah, there it is. But with this, I'm looking at some of these models, like this mod, like these, like all of them show it going out to the sea, which I don't think it's going to be strong enough to do that because it seems to remain relatively weak. Like one of these models, they show it being much weaker and going over Puerto Rico, which is kind of what Isaias did.
Yeah, there is definitely a chance. I mean, there is only one of the 50 ensembles of the GFS actually does that track, that it does go south of PR or just north of there, or making landfall there. There's one only, but maybe maybe it's because it shows it much weaker, and the weaker it is, because it's struggling right now. I mean, it's not really even though it's like in a better environment now, it's still kind of struggling. So maybe the weaker it is, the more west it can go and more affect the islands, possibly.
Oh Lord, look at these models. Are they comparing? Oh, they must be comparing it or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. What are they showing here? Looks very similar to what Jose did.
I mean, yeah, there's one model that shows it doing a loop.
Yeah, I'm very sure that's what Jose did. So right now, it looks like it's moving west-northwest right now. But again, I just want people to notice there is this one model that it is a possibility it could do something like this. Because again, that is a possibility. The Outer Banks of North Carolina. That was my prediction yesterday, because I think it's going to remain west. I feel like it might move something more like this and kind of just miss the islands and might actually do something like this. Again, I don't know how close it is going to get to the United States because it's really going to depend on the high pressure and the strength of the storm.
Yeah.
What else? That storm looks terrible.
You said horrible?
I mean, I'm looking at the, looking at this. I mean, we're seeing 30 knots, remaining with 30 knots. Oh, we did see 31 knots at the very last second, so it means the storm is strengthening. So we could be seeing 36, 37 miles an hour.
Yeah. It needs 34 to be a tropical storm.
Yep.
So it is getting there. It's getting there.
So for windy, this is what we're seeing. Still seeing 30 miles an hour. See, the thing with windy is windy is really not that good. Think about it, it doesn't even. It has 35 miles an hour, probably stronger than that.
Yeah, the European has it doing a track just north of PR.
Yeah, hold up.
Hour 96.
Hold on, let me get there. You said the GFS?
The European.
The European? Hour 96. Yeah, just to the north of Puerto Rico. Well, to the north of Puerto Rico. See, that just like. That's kind of my prediction. It's going to do something like that. I feel like it might just get the very outer banks of North Carolina. I don't know. That's just my general opinion with this storm.
I mean, Adrian thinks it's actually going to go to the Carolinas too. Now,
When did he say that?
Earlier today.
Well, I'm ahead of him. So, at least I made the prediction before him. So, even if I'm right, I would have still predicted it more accurate. I might have predicted it more accurately at a longer than him. So, if I'm right,
yeah,
it's going to make me look really good.
The 00Z CMC actually had it very close to Florida and hitting the Carolinas. The CMC, but the 0Z run.
For, you said Eastern WF? Keep forgetting.
No, the CMC.
Oh, the CMC, okay. Oh,
the 0Z one.
Alright, CMC, 0Z, CMC. Okay. Let's see. Let's take a look at this. See what we got here. Put this into motion from negative 72 hours. So I do see it there. Does move to the north of the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico. Does look like it makes landfall there in the Bahamas, and it looks like it makes a landfall. Ooh, that's hard. I'm not sure where that makes landfall. I need to zoom in closer to that area.
But that is interesting. I never seen a model like that west. I mean, the 12Z shifted back east. But, definitely there is something that possibly maybe it forces it more to the west. Possibly.
Yeah. There's that storm. Looks like it makes landfall right here.
I think that's like Wilmington.
That Wilmington was right here. Oops.
It's just north of there. Just north.
Hold on, let me see. Because, yeah, it looks like it makes landfall Why am I drawing an L? Hold up. Right here. I think Wilmington is like right here. And I know Myrtle Beach is like right here. And like Charleston is like right here. It's like in the middle of South Carolina.
Yeah.
Georgia's like right here. Anyway. I have to look up that area. So just give me a second because I don't know every single city along the East Coast. Let's see, that is... Oh, Lord, okay. Wilmington is like... Yeah, it's in that area. That is like... Looks like that is near Jacksonville, North Carolina. Near Surf City area. That's what I'm going to say. The Surf City area, which is like right here. Right there. Right there. That's what I'm saying. That's the Surf City area, but I mean that looks like that's 50 knots. I mean, that looks like that's pretty high up on the scale.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the CMC is the model I'm looking at, obviously. I mean, it's interesting.
Yes, it is very... I mean, that is interesting. CMC has been wrong, but it's also been right at times.
There's definitely something the CMC has in the model run that the other models don't have.
Correct.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah. And I mean it looks like it remains pretty strong, even over North Carolina. I mean, maybe the wind field gets a little bit bigger.
Maybe it makes it more organized with the land interaction.
Yeah, I mean, here's this out here. I mean, we got a huge band right here. We got some. Oh my God, why does that change? Hold up. This is so difficult. What I was saying is we got all these bands that you can clearly see right here, which is sign of outflow, which, you know, storms can get stronger from that, or stronger, breathe better. But yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up. That's very, you know, interesting seeing that, you know, making landfall there in the Carolinas. And again, yesterday I predicted this to make landfall in North Carolina on August 11th. So, I hope I am right. We will see what happens.
But yeah, you know, the European 120 hours come in and they're way more weaker, but more west compared to even the one from last night. So that means if it's weaker, it's most likely going to impact the United States. Yes. Just depends how weak it is, really.
Because, I mean, the weaker the storm is, the more the storm is going to be influenced by high pressure. The stronger the storm, the more it's going to be able to fight against the high pressure and create its own conditions so it can develop.
But yeah, with the ECMWF, they have it actually tracking towards the Carolinas, believe it or not.
I'm not surprised. I mean, the Carolinas have been the region this year.
Surprisingly. But they've just been getting everything this year.
Carolinas have just been getting hit hard. It's sad, but it's the real truth, and it's a very good possibility that this could be a North Carolina landfall again. Really, to be honest, it would not surprise me. With the zero show, hold up. European so far hasn't completely come out yet, but let me just go and take a look at the ECMWF. So this is what the European model is showing everyone. They basically show the storm. So far, what I'm seeing is the storm really doesn't get very strong and just sort of falls apart. That's what I see.
Yeah, I mean the wind shear north of the Antilles is could be pretty high. I mean that's the reason why the CMC model had that system pretty weak until it reached the Bahamas, because the conditions become favorable close to home. It looks like before home, before like the Bahamas area, they seem pretty unfavorable.
Yeah.
But after that, it's gonna be the problem. Looks like.
Yeah, once it gets past the Bahamas, that's really going to be the question. How fast is it going to intensify? Is it going to go through rapid intensification once it goes up the East Coast? That is a possibility. It could go through rapid intensification. Okay. So again, this storm seems to be one of those storms. So far, what I'm seeing is this storm seems to be another somewhat unpredictable storm, given that, it's kind of changing. The model shifts west. Some of the models show the Gulf of Mexico. Some of the models show the North Central Atlantic. So that's a pretty big range, all the way from the Florida Panhandle to the North Central Atlantic.
Yeah. I mean, if this system comes... Yeah, go on.
I was going to talk about, because they wanted me to talk about the experimental genesis probabilities for, I believe, tropical depression 11.
Oh, okay.
Some of them, once again, some of the, the cone is all the way down. Gosh, it's always messes up. So the cone has it all the way down here. And the other side of the cone has it all the way up here. So if it stays to the north or to the east, it is going to be stronger. If it stays to the south or to the west, it is going to be weaker. And if it stays weaker now, because right now it hasn't intensified beyond tropical depression intensity, which shows that it is staying weak, so it's going to stay to the south. That is a reason why I do not think that it is going to be an out-to-sea storm. The absence of it intensifying to a tropical storm early in its life is proof that I do not think it's going to be an out-to-sea storm because it's remaining weak. What do you think?
I mean, I agree with you. I mean, the longer it stays weak, I mean, even at 40 miles per hour, I mean, it's not much of a difference from 35. So as long as it stays very weak, it's not going to really go that north. I mean, it's not going to have that influence to escape from the high pressure if it's stronger. So, I mean, the weaker it is, I mean, it's going to be influenced much stronger by the high pressure. And it's going to force it more closer to the United States and maybe even hit the Carolinas. Or maybe, just maybe it shifts west enough that it does not even do a north turn at all. You just have to gonna have to wait and see for that.
Right now, I believe it's moving west-northwest at the moment. And it seems to be pretty much on that track of going west-northwest. We're not seeing a very big turn to the north. We're not seeing it turn to the south. We're just seeing it moving west-northwest. That is what I am seeing right now. So right
the question
now,
is how long? How long does it do that is the question.
Yeah, because, I mean, if you look at the National Hurricane Center, which I'm going to pull up right now, and talk about the cone. I can find my mouse. Hold up. Okay. I'm going to go to the National Hurricane Center and actually talk about the cone and talk about, you can kind of see where we know it's going to make more of a northwest turn. But the question is when. And that's going to be, when is this going to intensify? Because, I mean, we see over time it begins to turn well to the north like this. Okay? Now, right now, it is pretty much moving this direction. I cannot draw now. But What I wanted to say was it is moving in a very west-northwest direction, and as this intensifies, it's going to determine when this begins to really turn to the northwest. Because right now, well, it says it's moving west, but I see west-northwest. What do you see?
I mean, with the latest frames, it kind of looks like it is moving more north a little bit.
Yeah. Looks like this. But it's 1:30 right now. All right, cool. Look at the La Nina, please, and Hurricane Watch one. Hurricane models then. All right, La Nina. Speaking of, that hurricane season, we've been watching the, La Nina is not looking good. Here's what we're looking at. Negative 0.519 degrees below average right now. Oh, yeah, it is real well below average. So that's what it looks like right now. Hurricane models, we're also going to take a look at the hurricane models. And again, models aren't always something you can really look at all the time because not all the models are actually accurate. Some of them are, I hate to say it, but some of the models are absolute garbage.
Is it true?
It's the cold truth. Right. I guess I could look at wind speed. I mean, according to the H-Wharf, it's got, according to the H-Wharf, it's a tropical storm right now with winds of 40 knots.
I mean, I feel like it's over-exaggerating a bit. The H-Wharf is kind of like that.
To make it more intense than it actually is. Really doesn't show the storm really getting very strong. I mean, we're seeing 40 knots. And I mean 45 knots has been the highest that the H-Wharf has brought it to. So, according to the H-Wharf, they're not showing the storm being a big storm. I mean, we see 47, 40, 51 knots. 60, I didn't actually notice the 60 knots right there. It actually does become pretty strong. 60.1 knots, which I think is 70 miles an hour.
Yeah, 70.
70 miles an hour. Yeah, so it's about 70 miles an hour right there. Which, that's 70 mile an hour peak that's pretty decent. Pretty decent, Not too surprised, 70 miles an hour. Wouldn't be surprised if that were to happen. This is the H-Mon. They do bring this up to 61 knots, which is still like 71, 72 miles an hour. So a high-end tropical storm. Again, they show this being, peaking at around 71 miles per hour, but then they show it completely dissipating to like 29, 30 knots, and they show it pretty much dying off to tropical depression status, which, we go to the very end of the frame, they show it pretty much dying off. They show it dying all the way down to about 30 miles an hour, that's pretty weak. I don't think it's going to die off 100% like they're showing, but I do think it's going to go it's going to, fall apart pretty rapidly, but I don't think it's going to kill it 100%. What do you think?
I mean, I don't say it's going to be 100% falling off. I mean, it's going to lose most of its wind, but I don't think it's going to really die into the point that it's going to be a post-tropical storm. I don't see it like weaken that much to not even be a depression. I see it weakening maybe to a very weak tropical storm, but maybe a depression, but not to like a remnant system.
I see, 35 to 45 miles per hour is as weak as I think it's going to get. Bro, some of these models are showing it getting as low as 15 knots. God, some of these models are showing the storm to completely die out to like 10 knots.
Yeah.
I'm like, don't think that's gonna happen. They barely even show this becoming a tropical storm. They show max intensity being 40 miles per hour. Like, some of these models, in my opinion, are honestly kind of trash. And that's the GFS model. The GFS peaks this at 40 miles per hour.
I mean, the GFS has just been bad this year. I don't think we should really rely on it that much.
Yeah, I mean, most of the models you can't even rely on because they're not that good. And apparently, according to the CMC, this makes landfall in South America.
South America?
I'm not even joking. Look at that. That's South America, my guy. These models are just like garbage. I mean, the H-Warf honestly seems to be the most, it seems to be the most expected.
Yeah.
So right now, I'm just gonna go and say whatever the H-Warf says, because the H-Warf, so far, I think it's predicting the storm pretty accurately from the models that I'm seeing today.
And with the European, they still, I mean, they have it just getting sheared off. They have it going way to the north or something and become an elongated system now.
I don't see that happening. Ugh.
Yeah.
I'm still saying an East Coast landfall.
Yeah.
But honestly, if I were to tell Adrian I predicted North Carolina yesterday, he wouldn't believe me. Even if I told him that, he'd be like, no, you didn't. So yeah, this is what we're looking at, this storm. Anything else you guys want me to talk about? Because I haven't had lunch yet.
Yeah, same.
I'm kind of hungry. I'm gonna go up on some pizza. Anything else I should talk about, or have I pretty much covered it all? Can we see winds up to 70 miles an hour? I think that's definitely a possibility. I mean, Danielle was probably saying a Category 3 with this storm. But yeah, I definitely think a high-end tropical storm is likely. A hurricane, right now, I do not think this is going to become a hurricane at all. I don't see the conditions are going to be possible for a hurricane to develop. A high-end a low-end, maybe 75 mile an hour, Category 1 is possible. But where I don't see, 120 miles an hour. But 70 miles an hour, 75 miles an hour is even likely. It just depends if it takes advantage of those conditions and it actually goes through intensification to get to that intensity. So, again, 70 miles an hour, I'm saying 60 to 75 miles an hour. What is your range?
I mean, I say around 50 to 70 range.
That's good, yeah. Because again, you know, I know, because I know this is gonna be. We know this is gonna become a tropical storm. How strong it gets is really it's gonna be difficult. You know, if it intensifies pretty quickly, you know, a low-end hurricane is possible. Is it likely? It's not that likely. It's really not that likely. It's possible though. You know, again, you know, 70 miles an hour is very, very possible. But I'm very solid on 60 miles an hour. That is my solid. Pretty much, I feel a really strong, you know, gut feeling for 60 miles an hour.
Yes, a pure moderate tropical storm.
Yep, just one of those moderate tropical storms that do their thing. But yeah, guys, if y'all do not have any other questions, that's me for today, guys. Hopefully, I do an update at 4 p.m. and don't bail out, because last night I was so tired, I was literally falling asleep at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, I don't know, but I was really tired. It seems like the conditions will be slightly better for the system in the high shear environment than expected 2 days ago. Let's actually take a look at the wind shear. I don't even know what this wind shear looked like. Is that true?
I mean, I guess the wind shear is not going to be as bad as the models. I mean, the models don't show it so bad anymore. They don't show a horrible amount of wind shear. It's actually not so bad as they used to show.
Let's take a look at that. I mean, 25, okay. The storm does what I think it's going to do, which it probably won't, but if it does what I think it's actually going to do, let's say the storm, I actually think the storm's somewhere like right here. That's what I think the storm might do, something like that. Now, it may enter wind shear at up to 25 to 30 knots. That's not horrible. But it can do significant damage to the structure of a tropical system. Significant damage to the structure of a tropical system. Will it completely destroy it? I don't think so, but it will do significant damage to it. Now, I think the DFS is showing this to be too weak. I think this is going to be stronger than what they're expecting.
Yeah.
Y'all have any more questions? I think I covered it all. If anyone has any more questions, feel free to go in the chat below, ask your question. But that's it for today, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your afternoon. I will talk to you guys at 4 p.m. Central Time today. And, well, I might just do 7 p.m. because, I don't know, I don't feel like doing an update at 4 p.m. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe the system will sustain moisture bubble in this year. We will see. We will certainly see. It's possible, but anyway, guys, I will talk to you guys at around 7 p.m. Central Time tonight. All that being said, have a wonderful rest of your afternoon. Peace out.